Hey everybody, we've got a lot to talk about today with Generalissimo. We've got all sorts of stuff that's happened here with the nose. Michael's been putting the headlight buckets in and working on the mounting points, and so that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's start off with the headlight buckets. I think that's probably one of the first things that had to happen here.
Okay, yeah, so first of all, there's a lot going on with these noses. You can't just take the nose and just slap it on there. We were just looking at this whole assembly now, including all this intercooler and everything. Yeah, it weighs every bit of 75 pounds.
Yeah. So,
you know, we can't just bolt it to the fenders and that be that. So there's a lot of extra structure that needed to go into this. So the first thing I did, and we alluded to this in the last video, you saw the framework of this round tube frame that we made. I've got some, you know what, unfortunately I don't have a picture of this piece completely assembled, but because really we almost assembled it in place, I did have this top piece of sheet metal bracketry welded onto it, and I put it up in there, and then I welded the bottom piece on after it was in place to make sure everything was fitting the way it needed to. But there's a lot of structure here, and this right here is going to bear the majority of the weight of the these brackets right here. And we did go ahead and put this this bumper piece back on. This was off the Challenger, and if you look down here, we cut half of it off to and I've just expanded it into tabs there. But it is still so solid. We could jump up and down on this thing. It's not going anywhere. But what it's doing is giving us a really good backbone for all this stuff to mount to. And then now while you're down here at this level, we can look and see. So this is the divider for the intercooler air, and we're just going to give it its own source. And then down here is the divider for the radiator air.
So I'm going to pan around so they can hopefully see where it goes up in there. It divides off. See there, right there.
Hello.
That's radiator.
Mm-hmm.
This is intercooler.
Right.
It goes right on up in there, and then out.
Yep. So all that, and then this piece here, and I've put rubber, you know, wherever it meets to seal it off, and the same thing for the intercooler here. So hopefully, you know, 90% of the air will go through the desired areas, and this whole area, you know, is just going to be a high pressure zone, and air is just going to go right through. And of course, this is going to have a fan as well, but a lot of thought needs to go into this part of it, and because if you don't, that's when you're going to have overheating problems, and then the nose is on there already.
It's on there.
It never gets done after that.
Right.
So because the nose is so pronounced, you have to. So like we didn't have to worry about that on the Ruckus truck. You know, there was just the radiator was right there.
Yep.
But with this one, because the nose is pronounced, you had to manage that airflow. Now, the headlight buckets. We did use some of the lessons we learned with the scrap Tona, and we used a similar setup. Those of you who remember might know that these headlight buckets are similar. On the scrap Tona, we happen to have a set of E30 headlight buckets that were sitting around from when I had one years ago, and we converted it over to the projector beams. So they were literally hanging on the shelf. These are off an E28. They're very similar, but it's an old 525E that we had out back, and I had to modify them so they would fit in there. So everything was on one plane as far as the back of it, the mounting positions, but everything works as far as the adjustments, and then the reflectors here were another big part of this. You can't just have it open, or the light will bounce all around. It won't be contained. So we made these reflectors, and everything was mounted to the backer board. I've got pictures of these sitting over there on the table when they were done. But so anyway, it's all divided off. It's all solid. It's not going to rattle. I used rubber edge on the reflectors where they touch, and so it really should be a nice vibration-free, solid, adjustable headlight setup.
Yeah, and so to finish this off, we're going to take some clear polycarbonate or whatever we've got that's clear.
Yeah.
And then put that in there,
Mm-hmm.
or Lexan. We might have some Lexan left.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Well, Lexan is like Kleenex to tissue.
Yes, that's right.
So it's the same thing.
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah.
But
that's
yeah.
right. And then, all right. So big things going on here that really matter. This right here, you see how this is nice and straight down through there. So we had to match that up. And if you'll remember, this right here was not there in the last video. So Michael took a piece of, what did you take on that one?
Some of the cutoffs from the rear quarters.
Rear quarter cutoffs.
The same metal.
That's right.
It's still going to live on the car.
Yep. And so trimmed that off of the rear quarters and that we didn't need anymore, and then put that on here. Did that on both sides.
It's like taking some skin off your butt and putting it on your arm where you had a bad burn. I mean, really, it makes sense because it's the back of the car, right? Now this is the...
I get everything that you're doing here. It's just a little disturbing.
Well, okay. Sometimes my analogies go awry.
Anyway, so back to the car instead of human anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
We've got this right here, and obviously left it a little bit wild and everything, but you know, it's better to have more and to trim than to not have enough and wish that you did.
Now that we're down here, let's also talk about how bad these fenders were.
Yeah.
So I had a really serious crease right through here. And look, my deli work is not the best in the world, but it's manageable. So I had to take all this Bondo out and then hammer out some of these creases. And there was a crease here and a crease here, but I'm pretty pleased with that. A little glaze and that'll look all right. But
if we even are concerned to that level.
If we even do that, yeah.
Yeah.
So this right here is also, so this is some heavy gauge metal, sheet metal that so we needed to have support for the, so this is not only supporting it, but it actually kind of just clips in place.
Yeah.
Because there's a lip there, and you'll see in a minute when
it drops down into it.
Yeah, so these are the side ones, so they'll catch here, here, and here on both sides. And then down here, we'll tie this in, but that's going to be at a later date. So the other thing that we started working on was this cold side. And we're going to use aluminum on a lot of this, but this piece, I happen to have some 3-inch tubing. I'm going to have to clean that out. So I needed a very specific distance between here and here to get it to make this radius. So I had to, but that's how it's going to go. And so it had to drop slightly, and it had to have a 6.5-inch center to center for it to match up to the intercooler right there. And then I had to cut a big area out here, and then we had to reinforce this right here. So I got some room here now. This is going to sit right here. This will probably get cut off right about here, and the coupler will go there, and then we'll use aluminum here. And then the turbo is going to go here. The cold side is going to go down, 90 over, 90 up, 45, 45. That's the plan.
Yep. I love that plan.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll see if all this comes together. But I had to use steel for that because I'm not talented enough to weld aluminum yet. No. But anyway, it's functional. It's not pretty. Don't get too close to that. Look, in full disclosure, just to see, I went ahead and filled this up with water. It's got multiple leaks, so I'm going to have to seal it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I filled it up with water, and it had a little bit of seepage in a few of these spots.
Man.
Shut up.
I tell you what, it's hard to get good help.
But I'm going to seal it. Don't worry. but yeah, so that's... what is that? What else can we talk about here? I think we're ready to put this thing, the nose on.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
what?
You know, we were talking about this front where you added the rear quarter and everything, and then, like I said, you put a lot more on there, or you left it running wild, and then we had to trim it to where it would match this right here to this right here.
Yeah, we got the straight edge,
and then, you know, just made sure. And look, this is a little bit of a guesswork on it, but we believe this is going to work out just fine. I really think so. We're about to find out.
Yeah.
You know, we had to slide it back, obviously, to do all this. And at this point, you know, we've had it on this rig where we could move it back and forth, and that's been very helpful. But now, with all these mounting points in place, and all of this structure and that structure, you can't just take it back and forth like we were. So
Right.
we made our best guess, and we're
gonna
gonna see how it works.
Yeah. So
cool. Let's do it. Okay,
So-
so we're gonna be ambitious. I was gonna just cut to a time lapse, but Michael's like, you know what? I think I can do this by myself.
Me and Mr. Rack here.
Yeah. So I'm gonna see if he can do it.
I don't know.
I said it's ambitious, but we're gonna find out. You know what? I can help a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
The camera work won't be as good.
All right. Now go to your one.
Is pretty sick. You know, my camera work's always really good.
Oh yeah, when you're doing, yeah. Uh-oh.
No, I mean, even in the best of circumstances, it's awesome.
Oh yeah, right.
No, I'm really just kidding. I'm terrible at this. But I don't let that stop me.
We never have before, have we?
No. Some people shouldn't do this. I'm one of them.
Okay, wait. Yeah, this is very ambitious because I got to get this line up too. All right, you know what? I think we need 2 sets of eyes and hands on
I
this.
know what I thought. That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
All right, so I guess we'll switch to time lapse now.
Yeah.
Okay, so not a whole lot of drama there, and amazingly, I said amazingly.
Let's go. Wait. Let's look at everything here because
It looks like everything is lined up. And I was actually doing a dig there, but Michael really is very pleased that it, and amazed that it did come together here. This lower section is just kind of hanging out. But wow, I mean, dude, that's not bad at all. That is really nice. Our little, you know, guesswork on that trimming
this
worked
is
out.
the part that I'm not.
Look, I think it's okay, Mike. It's pretty good.
Okay, see, that's a little wide, but it's okay. We can.
It's just a little bit. Keep in mind, on the Daytonas, they had that stupid huge gasket, you know?
Mhm.
So this is way better. Wow.
Well, I think. No, I know the way this is on there. We can take this wire. I'm going to leave it attached here, but I'm going to take it off of here.
Yeah, I like that. And then we'll get the frame out of the way.
This will be the first time
That the nose is hung on there without this. All right, there's one more. Sorry about that. Oh, man. Wow. Oh. Wow. Man. This is where we just kind of stand back and look at it.
Yeah, because I mean, this is the result of a lot of.
What do you think, Dave?
It's hanging on its own. You see, if this thing was O.J. Simpson, he would have gone to jail the first time because the glove would have fit.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Man, some dark analogies today.
I don't know what's wrong with me today.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, really, super pleased. Some small adjustments, but nothing major. Right here, we're still not done with this lower, getting all that lined up, but it doesn't take a whole lot to get us there. This has all lined up back here, and it's not
The intercooler is
not mounted, but it is basically mounted.
There's no strings on me.
Go ahead and push on it, Mike. You see that it is part of the car. That is awesome. That's what you want to see.
And all our airflow
Oh yeah, airflow. It's one thing to talk about it while it's not on there. Now, look at that.
Can you see it or need a light?
I mean, you can kind of see it. Let me get a light. Where did I do it?
There
There it is.
Oh, well, there's a Sharpie in there.
Yep. So perfect for ingesting plastic grocery bags on the freeway.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So next up, I mean,
Next
we've
up,
got to
well,
get the cool side.
yeah, the turbo cool side and hot side bolted up. That's going to be a big part of this. We still promised them we're going to do something about the turbo wheel covers.
Man,
so we can talk about that.
We need to go ahead and make the rest of those.
Yeah, and I got to take a little bit more length off of this, but basically this goes right where I want it to. Just a little snug. Right. Well, it's basically there.
It's really close. In fact, you might just be able to trim off this back side here because there's a little
gap there. That's what I'll do. Let's trim a little bit of this length here.
Yep. So, so that'll be done. Once we've got the rest of our plumbing for the turbo, we get the turbo, we'll mount all of that up. Then what?
I don't know. Look, so we got to finish the back of the fenders, the back of the front fenders here, because this is still just sitting here.
Yeah. All
right now.
Mounted.
So that's going to be a big part of it. Get the flare dialed in, trim out the wheel wells, add the metal that needs to go here.
Cut this out for the pods.
Yep.
As far as the back, we're really close to being completely done back here.
Really, it's just put some nut certs in. Or no, we're just going to pop rivet it on, really, and just start trimming. There's going to be a fair amount of trimming. We'll have some trim back here. We'll have some trim, and then we'll have to work on this dash area to get it to match.
Yep.
Got to do a little bit more work on the doors, get them open shut smoothly, because they don't quite do that right now.
Windshield wipers.
Yeah.
Or windshield wiper.
I mean, yeah, I'm still not sure what I'm going to do on that.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it wouldn't be the end of the world that didn't have a windshield wiper, but I really want to put a windshield wiper on it.
I thought we learned this lesson.
Okay.
Didn't we learn that lesson?
All right. We'll probably put a windshield wiper on it.
All right. And then windshield, obviously. And paint. And then drive it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. All right. And that's it for this video. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.